this for Lake Havasu City Council here at the Lake Havasu Realtor Center.
President of the Arizona Association of Realtors. He is the owner broker from Boulder City, and with no further ado, Mr. Evan Hughes.
Thank you all for attending tonight. My name is Michelle Lynn. I am running for City Council because I am an average, hardworking, honest, Christian, concerned, small business owner. I'm a wife, a mother of 4, and a 14-year resident of Lake Havasu. I have nothing to gain from this endeavor except to keep Havasu the beautiful, wonderful place that it is to live. The city is made up of some of the most generous, caring, and helpful people. The reason why Lake Havasu has become one of the best cities to live in is because of those that live here, the citizens. It is our city's job to take care of, protect, support, and encourage them, thus providing fair, financially secured public transportation, affordable water bills, safe roads to drive on, safety of our pets and young children from the coyotes, proper code enforcement, the support of small businesses, the encouragement to MCC and ASU to generate higher educated students that can thrive in our community, the support of helping to better our schools, appreciation and continual support to the police and firemen and women that protect our city, and the much needed demand for better doctors and medical personnel to provide for our families. I am willing to listen, research, and make decisions on these type of issues and concerns that will only benefit the people that live here. Who are the people of Lake Havasu? Our citizens are hardworking individuals, some working 2 or more jobs to keep afloat. There are single mothers, fathers, grandparents raising families paycheck to paycheck. These same citizens are the ones that are out there making Lake Havasu beautiful. I've seen hundreds of citizens networking to find a missing child. I've seen churches, organizations, Facebook, and other social media services in Lake Havasu come together to help families. I've witnessed teachers use their own finances to purchase school items for their students, parents volunteering their time, their money when the school couldn't come through, donations to our animal shelters, and the military moms that support our troops with money, time, and love. These are the people who live in Lake Havasu. These are the people whose needs should be taken care of. It needs to be explained to our city management what the families of Lake Havasu need to survive here. The wasteful spending has become ridiculous. Most of our citizens are not aware of the thoughtless use of our taxpayer money. Why? Because they don't read the newspaper. Maybe they can't afford it. They don't attend the city council meetings. Maybe they're working their 3rd job and they can't make the meetings. They're not involved in the CDB, the PED, or the chamber, or any of the other special interest groups. Like I said before, I have nothing to gain from running for this position except to voice the concerns, opinions, and needs of our families here in Lake Havasu. You either like the way I think or you don't. Either way, this is who I am and these are the people I represent. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank the Realtors Association for putting on this event this evening. Thanks very much, and especially for all of you that have taken time out of your day to come and join us and listen to what we're going to have to say tonight. My name is Doug Clays, and I am running for City Council. Tonight, I really want to just jump right into one of the issues we've been talking about now for quite a while, and that's the issue about whether or not we should be paying down the sewer bonds for the city. There's a misconception going around town that to be able to pay down the bonds, you have to raise taxes to do so, and that's incorrect. When asked where we get the funds to be able to pay down these bonds, you have to ask yourself, where did we get the funds, or where will we get the funds to spend $780,000 to buy a few acres in Body Beach? Where did we get the funds to spend $600,000 on wayfinding? Where did we get the funds to buy a parking lot on Mesquite, or then to put curbing on that parking lot? The question is not so much where we will get the funds to be able to pay down these bonds, but the real question is where will we get the political will to pay down these bonds? Where do you, the taxpayers, want your dollars spent? Do you want your dollars spent paying down these bonds, or do you want your tax dollars spent on the City Hall's project du jour? There's also other potential sources of revenue to help pay down these bonds. As you know, reading the front page paper recently, the improving growth of sales tax revenue to the city. If the sales tax continues to grow back to pre-recession levels, that would mean an incremental $3 million of revenues that the city would realize. That money, all of it or part of it, could be used to help pay down the bonds. Next, If you take a look at the wastewater fund, there's about $30 million of reserves sitting in the wastewater fund. Now that is there as a result of the covenants, the bond covenants, so it's restricted money. But once you pay down a bond, the amount of money, the amount of cash reserve that's against that bond can then be released. And that's another source of revenue that we'd be able to use to pay down additional bonds. Then we have the money that's debt service for the bonds that we're paying down. That debt service, once the bond is then paid, should roll forward and we should start working on the next bond with those monies. In essence, ladies and gentlemen, we intend to let the monster eat itself one bite at a time. When I look at the potential projects for the city, and I look at projects for the greatest return for both the city and the residents, I don't see anything out there today that will provide as significant of an economic benefit to this city as providing $22 million a year back to the residents and to the businesses of this town. And that seems to be consistent with comments and concerns voiced by residents today. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your questions tonight.
Good evening, folks. Thank you, Realtors, for inviting us tonight here, and all you folks for coming. I was going to address a few issues today, and I don't know how many of you know or look at the Havasu News, but there's a few issues that come up in there that I've seen today, and it's bothersome to me, so I want to just kind of hit on that a little bit here. There's been a lawsuit that's been out in the open now over some things up here at the city. I could care less about a romantic affair, but when letters are written and distributed to city managers and council members and stating hostile actions of city directors, asking for help, is this something that the council would just ignore? It really bothers me. Collusion and the discrimination of older workers has been stated. Ignoring conflicts in City Hall, but still giving evaluations and a new contract to city managers. I'm wondering how much of this that our city council knew of that we've done nothing that I know. I mean, how much are we supposed to be involved with that? So I kind of wanted to put that out because that's something that really bothers me. If we're doing nothing, we should have been doing something. So, but it was kind of a short notice on this, so I did want to bring that out. As far as, I do want to encourage you business here in town. Through the efforts to provide really ready business trained employees through programs at our NCC and ASU, we're building an employee resource base to support national corporate type headquarters. I really feel that we could bring that type of business in here. And our city must continue to outreach to other cities and promote the opportunities Havasu has to offer for small and large business. We have problems with our city transit, and we really must move forward in a positive direction that's fair for all citizens for that. Excuse me. Many avenues to be looked at, and it's time that we take a look at those issues. Codes enforcement's been another big issue here in town. One of the most valuable tools for the city and the citizens. Without strict code enforcement, our city deteriorates. Property values decline, and the lack of pride in our citizens become the playground for disaster here. We must show our citizens and the future homeowner that we do and will support codes enforcement to the fullest. So by stepping up, running for city council, listening to your concerns, I will continue my commitment to you, and your vote is essential. So I'm asking for your vote August 26th. Thank you.
My name is Bill Baptista, and I'm pleased to be here this evening. And I'd also like to take a moment to thank the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors for hosting the event this evening. I also want to welcome and thank each of you for attending tonight, for taking an interest in the future of our community. Thank you all for being here tonight. If I may, as the stranger in the room, I'd like to begin by briefly sharing with you some of my background. I've been married to my wife, Mary, for over 37 years. Mary is the Chief Deputy Treasurer of La Paz County. We've lived in Lake Havasu for 14 years. My business background is in aviation finance. For most of my career, I worked for Cessna, where I rose through the company, eventually managing an office of personnel covering the 10 western states. I alone was entrusted with a $1 million lending authority I've been trained in financial analysis, management, budgets, operations, and human resources. I was very successful. I retired very early. Unfortunately, my wife decided not to retire very early. Realizing in hindsight, I was too young to sit and wait for Mary to join me in retirement, I searched for volunteer work in the community. My search paid off. I was fortunate enough to be accepted into the Justice Court's volunteer mediation program, and after undergoing an FBI fingerprint and background check, I began training conducted by the State of Arizona Attorney General's Office. Soon afterwards, I began my duties as a court-appointed mediator for the Lake Havasu City Consolidated Court System. And I enjoyed success there as well. In fact, in my first year, I was presented with Volunteer of the Year award for my contributions to the mediation program, which saved the courts and taxpayers over $100,000. Additionally, as many of you know, I'm also a former member of the Lake Havasu Airport Advisory Board. I served on that board for about 3 years as well, and I resigned from both positions at the end of last year. My remaining time, I want to take just a moment to outline a couple of the reasons I decided to get involved with the election this year. First, I think I can speak for all the candidates when I say we each believe there's no better reason for running than to help our neighbors and friends shape the community in which we live. What's debatable is what shape does that take? For starters, I'd like to reverse the increasing trend of seeing our limited resources spent towards special interests and less towards community services. I'd also like to reverse the trend in belief and the mindset that all Lake Havasu has to offer is a bridge and a lake. Please don't misunderstand me. I understand full well what the city economic drivers are. What I'm saying is we can do more, as in much better. In addition to the lake and the bridge, we've got an airport. Last year, when I sat on the Airport Advisory Board, I presented the group with a report on the economic figures the airport generated, both directly and indirectly, into the local economy, and I'd say once again, we can do much better. And please, let's not forget about ASU. I'm still convinced many folks do not appreciate the value ASU has added to the home of the London Bridge. It's up to the community at this point if ASU grows or if it eventually goes away. For the record, I'm in favor of its growth, and I'll have more to say in my closing statements. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cal Sheehy, and I'm running for Lake Havasu City Council. First off, thank you to the Realtors Association for having us this evening. It's really great that we can get everyone together and really talk about the issues and what's important to Lake Havasu City and how we can direct that forward. Also, a big thank you to you for being here this evening and braving the heat to come out. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm running for Lake Havasu City Council and why I think that's important. First, I'm a longtime Lake Havasu City resident. I graduated from Lake Havasu High School, and I also started my higher education at Mojave Community College. I have now a bachelor's in business marketing and an MBA from the University of Phoenix, and I did that while I was working at London Bridge Resort, where I'm the vice president and general manager. I started at London Bridge Resort back in my high school days. I started as a housekeeper. I started cleaning rooms and moved on to bell service, and then I got the promotion over to the front desk and then started my management career in hospitality management. I moved for a few years to Florida, and I took on my first property, and I was the general manager of a property in Daytona Beach, Florida. I then became a regional manager, and I had resorts in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, Branson, Missouri, and Daytona Beach, Florida. And I traveled between the three properties, making sure that all the operations and all of our guests were happy and that the standards of the brand were maintained. So that's my professional career. A little bit of why I'm running for Lake Havasu City Council is I believe that a stable and well-managed and thoughtful governance will lead our community into the future. I believe that skills and attributes such as honesty, integrity, listening, and experience are very important skills for a Lake Havasu City Council member. I'm very active in our community. I'm very involved in a variety of different organizations and civic groups. I believe in Lake Havasu City. I'm passionate about Lake Havasu City, and I'm willing to lead the effort to make Lake Havasu City even greater. A few of the issues that I think are very important to our community is one, to diversify our economy. I think there's no greater legacy that we can leave our community other than diversifying our economy. Workforce development, making sure that our residents are ready and able to go to work, and that we have the training programs to make sure that they can be fluid as the job levels change, and we can bring those high-paying, well-managed, and stable positions to our community. I also believe in public transportation. Now, that doesn't mean I believe in buses that are going around town and a fixed route system like we might have had in the past, but I do believe in a very mobile community, and I believe that we have to have some solution to public transportation. I also believe in a managed approach to code enforcement. I think codes are very important, but I also think private property rights and those rights of private property owners are important, so I think we need to manage that, and I think we can truly effectively do that. And I also believe in term limits. So those are a few of the issues that I believe in. I'm sure there's going to be a variety of questions from you folks this evening, and I'll get into more detail on some of those topics. But again, thank you for being here, and again, my name is Cal Sheehy.
Hello, my name is Luana Gillette, and I too would like to thank the Realtors for inviting us to come and talk to you, and I'd like to thank you for coming out. I have lived in Lake Havasu for 11 years, and as in all the other cities that I've lived in, I have tried to contribute to the community here. I have been president of several organizations, most of them Republican because I am a conservative, and I'm presently the president of the MCC Foundation Board here in Lake Havasu City. I am also a district director for the Arizona Federation of Republican Women. I am also a member of the Silent Witness. I was the president last year, but I resigned as president so that I would have more time to run for the city council. I am a conservative Republican, as you can tell, and education is very, very important to me, and that's one of the reasons that I kept my position with the MCC Foundation Board. MCC has been in our community for a long time, and they have been educating our young people and our old people, and they have programs that put you right to work. It's not just getting an education, you get a job skill. So that is really, really important to me, and it's important because we need to keep our young people here in Lake Havasu City. We need to have jobs for them. So jobs is one of my biggest things that I would like to do. I would like to see new business come here. I've got a couple of ideas on how we can bring some new business here. I think if we could get more transportation for our businesses, if we could get a railroad spur to come into Lake Havasu, I think that we would be able to get some small manufacturing. We don't want anything really big, but small manufacturing. We have the voucher system. I think the transportation is really important to us. I like the voucher idea. I think it needs to be expanded, and I understand that it is in the process of being expanded right now, but it absolutely has to be expanded because we need the mobility for the people who either don't have a car or are older people who need transportation to the doctor and to get food, that sort of thing. I like the fact that this is the home of the London Bridge. I like that saying, and I think that we should try and figure out a way to pay off the sewer loans. I think it's the same as we would do with our own home loans. If we have one that's got a balloon payment at the end, you've got to start figuring out how to make that payment. So thank you so much for coming, and I'm asking you to vote for me on August the 26th. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. My name is Jenny Koch. I am a 13-year resident of Lake Havasu City. I have moved here from Nebraska in 2001. My reason for moving, unlike a lot of people, was to move here to take care of my elderly grandparents. I am the Membership and Special Events Director for the Lake Havasu Chamber of Commerce. I've been there for 12 years. My husband and I have an 18-year-old daughter who graduated from Lake Havasu High School in May. My chamber career has taken me through leadership development programs and advanced leadership programs, which is also where it led me to where I am today. I've also served on the board for the Interagency Council for a number of years, president of our National Ambassador Association, president of our Kiwanis Club, and in 2008 I received my certificate in nonprofit management from the American Chamber of Commerce executives at the University of Arizona. Currently, I am a member of our Kiwanis Club, Pillar Society for the United Way, and the Women's Council of Realtors. On a national level, I serve on our National Association of Chamber Executives Emerging Leaders Council, as well as the American Chamber of Commerce sales team. I want to serve on the Lake Havasu City Council for a number of reasons. I bring a new and younger demographic with a business perspective. I am a pro-business candidate. I'm involved with the issues affecting business and economic development daily in my current profession at the Chamber. I want to see our city continue to grow with the wonderful opportunities that we have ahead, including the expansion of ASU campus and the motorsports complex. Education and business go hand in hand, and these opportunities mean job creation and tax revenues. My interests are simple: making sure our elderly, such as my grandmother living on a fixed income, has the resources available to her, as well as job opportunities for those just graduating from high school. I look forward to helping our city move forward in a positive and stable direction. Having a constant and positive forward-thinking council is the key to attracting new business to our community. Thank you.
How you doing? My name's Dave McCapman, and I appreciate you all inviting us here and everybody showing up for this evening. For some of you that don't know me, I've been a resident here in Havasu for 33 years. Opened an electrical contracting business back in '81 here. And my wife and I moved here 31 years ago. My wife, Carolyn, been married 36 years. 2 children were born and raised here in Havasu. Both went to school, and my son works with me in our electrical contracting company. My wife and I own Sam Nichols Electrical. Just keep this brief to let you know the main reason I ran for city council to start with was to provide honest, solid leadership and consistent government within Lake Havasu, and that's the same reason I'm running for re-election, is to provide that same thing. I think we have a proven track record. The city's in good financial shape. We came through a tough recession, and it took good leadership to get there. And with that, appreciate you having us.